Hello and welcome to Frank's School. This is the 112th day of the third year, and first video and only video, but I'm asking you to watch James Burke's The Day the Universe Changed, and it's going to take a while because there's 10 episodes. At this point, after my little explanation, I'd like you to watch the end of episode 2, starting at the 29th minute and going to the end. That's going to be about 15 minutes. So if anybody wants to use this in a class period, consider that. Well, some of the stuff he's going to go over, I asked you to stop on the word zero because he's talking about that vast amount of information and change in thinking that we got through that, what I call the Spanish connection, from the Arabs across North Africa into Spain and then ultimately back into Northern Europe. Well, Aristotle had been forgotten, and Aristotle was brought. He was saved really by that Spanish connection for us. And Aristotle's thinking takes over Augustine's, or Augustine, it can be pronounced so, I think, his thinking. And I'm going to let him, largely you can just listen to him, but it really is all dazzling. Aristotle gave us logic, and there's something called a syllogism. If this is true and this is true, then that's true. Bologna in Italy, he goes there for several times, and there's where a university began, and he talks about the impact of universities. You're going to see him talking about glosses, once again, glosses, stuff around writing to explain writing, and I think I already told you that I feel like I'm giving a gloss to Burke's masterpiece with what I'm doing right now. Then to Chartres in France. Chartres, it's one of the two most famous cathedrals, I would probably say, in the world. Well, Gothic cathedrals anyway. And I have a personal story about Chartres. I was there with my wife, and I think I might have told it elsewhere in this in Frank's School, but I had the misfortune to be at the top of the tower when their biggest bell rang. Chartres is so amazing because you can see 20 miles in every direction, and he uses that because he's in the middle of the wheat field. I sort of knew that was coming, and there stands Chartres. It's up on a hill anyway. And from there he goes to Paris and Notre Dame Cathedral, Notre Dame de Paris. That's the other, more famous even than Chartres, I would say. But so you see them both, and he talks about flying buttresses and pointed arches and vaulting. That's my dog. And when you see those stained glass windows, you might begin to think, the name of this was In the Light of the Above. Well, there's that light pouring into these Gothic cathedrals, made possible by the construction learned from the Arabs. Then he goes on to light, refraction, and teaches about refraction, and points out that there was actually, the guy that did this, and I don't know all these names, set up a laboratory model to decide about refraction. And then at the end he comes back to that traffic light. He likes to put sometimes a kind of a loop on his hour-long, well, not hour-long, but period-long show, and talks about it, and then change. That word change, that becomes like a leitmotif, I think, or a major motif throughout Burke's series. The day the universe changed, and how fast change, and the speed at which change occurs. Well, I don't want to be long because already that'll take you quite a bit of viewing to watch that. And it really is more than you can take in with one viewing. I think even if you're taking notes and stuff, but it's rich, but there it is. So enjoy. See you next time.